The contrast between Lincoln's day and ours in terms of what politicians are expected to reveal of themselves, I think is very interesting because in Lincoln's day, his religious views were a political question. And when he ran for Congress in the 1840s, his opponent challenged him to the point that he published a broadside stating his views on religion. It's the only time Lincoln spoke at length in public, or wrote at length in public on his religious views. The candidate's religious views were considered important. His private life, on the other hand, his personal life, the relationships with individuals that he had outside of politics, were considered completely off limits and were not to be discussed and were not relevant. Today, obviously, it's precisely the opposite. One's personal relationships are fodder for the evening news. That's, in some cases, the only thing people seem to care about in regard to public figures. But religion is off limits. The modern candidate is not to discuss religion, and the religious habits of the candidate are not made public, other than, as you say, a ritual attendance at church is considered appropriate, but theological discussions don't take place on the stump. Lincoln's religious views, like his views on race, his views on equality, his views on many things, evolved over his lifetime. That's another of the things we find appealing about him, is how he developed, how he changed. His religious views were very much, he was very skeptical, he was very much a free thinker in New Salem in the 1830s. There's serious evidence that he wrote a lengthy essay denying the divinity of Jesus, which his friends, in order to preserve his political viability, destroyed on his behalf. Later, we see him writing the second inaugural address, the most profoundly religious public statement by any American president ever. How did he get from one stage to the other? I don't think it was a sudden conversion experience, but there were a number of steps along the way. The death of his son Edward was certainly one personal tragedy that moved him to think more deeply about eternal issues. The death of his son Willie in 1862, even more so perhaps. And of course the deaths of thousands in the American Civil War, which he fully appreciated the irony that he, who was sick at the sight of blood, should preside over the most massive bloodletting our country ever experienced. If that's not going to make a person think about the meaning of life, nothing is.